Good evening, dear friends. Here's the situation. You look at yourself here. You look in the mirror and you notice that one shoulder is higher than the other. What should you do? Where should you go? Should you be worried? Do you need to do anything about it? Let's figure this out together. There are different reasons why one shoulder might be higher than the other. There are three main ones, and you'll find out what they are now. If at the same time your lower back doesn't hurt, your arms don't hurt, your legs don't hurt, and your shoulders don't hurt, there might be nothing serious about it. If there's no discomfort at all, but if you have pain in your lower back, in the shoulder that's lower, most often it's the lower one, or pain in your neck, then that's something to pay attention to. The pain can be on either side. Restricted mobility in the neck, restricted mobility in the lower back, pain in the hip joint, pain in the knee. Then you should pay attention to what I'm about to show you. So, take a look. One shoulder is higher, the other is lower. The first reason, and the most common one, is the forward displacement of the shoulder blade along with the arm, due to differences in the tone of the muscles that move and stabilize the shoulder blade from the front and back. The front group of muscles, the pectoralis minor muscle, the pectoralis major muscle. Well, let's also include the small coracobrachialis muscle here. The anterior deltoids also play a role in this position, but the main muscles that move the shoulder forward like this are usually the shortened pectoralis minor and pectoralis major muscles. And it's not just about shortening, but also the difference in size and strength between the chest muscles and the muscles that stabilize the scapula from the back. That's the trapezius. It has lower, middle and upper parts. Very often, the strength and size of the trapezius muscle and the pectoralis major do not match, which is the most common reason. Sometimes the problem of this forward displacement happens because of a difference in the size of the deltoid muscle. The rear part is poorly developed while the front part is better developed. But sometimes the shoulder is also shifted forward. But at the same time, the front deltoid is also underdeveloped. In that case, this happened because of the shortening of the coracobrachialis muscle. And automatically, when the deltoid is weak, everything else starts helping with the movement as well. So, the first reason for shoulder blade imbalance, you could say. In this case, what are the distinguishing features? So, here's the first one. The first person is kind of crooked like this. He's standing in front of us like this. And his distinguishing feature is that this shoulder, the lower one, is also positioned ahead of the higher shoulder. What does that mean? It means this. So, you see, can you tell? It's shifted forward. This one of mine, the shoulder blade is kind of fixed a bit behind, and this one has fallen forward. And as a rule, the position of the arm on the side where this happened is turned a little like this. It's more comfortable for me to have the back of my hand facing forward. It's uncomfortable for me to move my arm to the side like this. With this arm, very often, even if it's the right one, it's uncomfortable to carry things. And lifting the arm from the shoulder on the higher side is easier than lifting it from the shoulder on the lower side. It's uncomfortable for me to lift here because my whole deltoid is usually injured. With loads, this shoulder is at greater risk of being injured. The first and most common situation. Let's mark it with Roman numeral 1. The second situation. This one is also quite common. The difference in muscle volume is lower down here, right here. So here we had this area right out of balance. And here, look, it will be like this. I'll have to draw it like this now. This is what the person looks like now, with the chest like this. There. And here we get one shoulder is higher, the other is lower. Oh, that's not good, right? Poor drawing. It doesn't work out the first time. Here, right here, look how. So there will be a slight arch here in the lower back. Here's the second one in the thoracic region. So the first one, as a rule, forms without scoliosis. the first case. And in the second case, there will be some extra curves appearing right here. Here we have a difference in muscle tone and volume on the right and left. That is, on one side the muscles are weaker, on the other they are stronger. And because of this, the position of the pelvis will change. So in this case, what happens is that the muscles right here have different tone and strength. Which muscles? The quadratus, the external and internal obliques, and the iliopsoas. Maybe it's one of them. But if it's just one of them, it's unlikely to cause such a big imbalance. You might only feel it during movement. As a rule, for this to happen, there should be a difference between the quadratus and the oblique muscles. And also the iliopsoas muscle, if it's involved, the pelvis can rotate in some way. It can turn like this. Why does it turn? Because during the movement of the iliopsoas, it doesn't have enough strength to pull the leg forward from the back position. And that's why you kind of have to help yourself with your pelvis like this. And that's why the pelvis tilts a little like this too. Because of the habitual repetitive movement, certain muscles stay overly tense all the time. In this case, the position of the legs also changes. For example, on this side, my muscles are a bit shorter. On this side, well, they turn out to be a bit longer. And my legs will adjust to this position. This right leg will step a little to the side. It might even turn out a little to the side, like this. And in this case, when I walk, I might notice the tracks in the snow. Mine go like this. One leg seems to be heading to Nizhny Novgorod and the other is pointed here towards Surgat. So I end up moving in different directions and my movements become unpredictable. And when someone is coming toward me, I'll keep bumping into them like this, just like that. When a person is walking, me and him, and he won't understand where I want to go. One moment this way, then that way, that's how I turn out to be such an unpredictable person. And I'll always have trouble passing by someone, not because, well, it looks threatening from the outside when you walk like that. Especially if your arms are hanging like this, you'll end up making this kind of movement. You're dangerous. How do you get rid of it? We'll sort it out now and show you. And third, which also happens often, but not as often, and it's much easier to fix. This is a case when the legs are of different lengths. Let's draw it right here. Different leg lengths. What will happen here? From this side, from the side. The same thing will happen with the pelvis here. And on the side, where my lower half of the pelvis drops down here, on this side, my leg will be shorter. So this leg is shorter and this leg is longer. So what should you do here? Compensate for the difference in leg length. Up to 1 centimeter difference in leg length is generally considered normal if there are no heavy physical activities involved. If your height is, well, more than 171 centimeters, you won't feel it, it all gets compensated by your shoes. But if you need to do prolonged physical activity and if the difference is already more than 1.5 centimeters, then it's better to compensate for it because legs of different lengths can't handle the load symmetrically. So, what do we get? The first case, how do we fix it? How do we distinguish the first case from the second and the third? So you're standing here. Let's say one of your shoulders is lower, the other is higher, right? In the first case, when you bring your shoulder blades together, in the back, both of your shoulders will end up at the same level, like this. But if it's just about the shoulder blade, like this. So you were standing like this, you brought your shoulder blades together and pressed them to your spine as much as possible. And well, you became more or less symmetrical. So that's where we started. But this is just for checking at home. In the absence of a qualified medical doctor, you like to treat all of this on your own. The first 6 months, then when nothing moves anymore, that's usually when we ask for help. So that's why at first, look, we do it on our own. Is that clear? Second, here's the second case. We do it like this and still remain crook. That is, we bring the shoulder blades together, but one shoulder stays higher, the other lower. So what about the legs? we put something under one foot. Well, usually, look, this is how it happens. That is on the side where the shoulder is lower. The leg on that side also turns out to be shorter. Put something under that foot or take the shoe off the other foot. There you go. This way you'll lift the side with the lowered shoulder. Do you understand the idea? What is there to explain to you? Everyone here has a college education. Some even have several degrees. You get it. Let's move on to these more complex cases. The shoulder is shifted forward. What should we do? We train the rear deltoid and trapezius. One of my preferred exercises that really works all of this is this one. It's also good for the shoulder because many people often have problems with the shoulder joint in this case. Take a weight. Start with a kilogram. A bottle of water is half a kilogram. Choose the weight depending on your strength. Lie down on your side like this. Let your arm hang down. Lift it up here. Let it hang. Lift it up. Depending on the position of your arm, different muscles will work, except for the rear deltoid and a bit of the muscles on the shoulder blade, like the supraspinatus and infraspinatus, which also work. All of this is also useful. But it will also depend on the position of your arm, which part of the trapezius will work. So we can change it. If we put it here like this, the upper part of the trapezius will work more. If we put it higher here, the lower part of the trapezius will also be involved in the movement. If we turn the arm like this, the middle deltoid also starts to participate in the movement. So it's good to start with this kind of exercise because for a scapula that's shifted forward, it's used to this lower position. At first, it's better to move it back a little out of this stretched position and then start the movement. The first group of exercises. The second group of exercises also targets the same muscle group using a resistance band. How is this done here? Here you attach it somewhere to the side of the door and we move it out to the side like this. So what's the difference here? In the first exercise, our maximum effort was right here. At this point, in the position where the shoulder blade is in the front position, the distance between the inner edge of the shoulder blade and the spine is greater. And in that position, we had the maximum effort and load in that exercise. In this exercise, our maximum effort will be at the end point, when the shoulder blade is moving closer to the spine. So the maximum effort is right here in this spot. If our goal is to change the position of the shoulder blade, we can even do it statically right here. Basically, just hold it at first so that the muscle gets used to maintaining a certain tone right here. The position of the arm can also vary. It can be like this or like that. It doesn't really matter, whatever is comfortable. Then later on in this position, you start moving your arm. So what happens is this, when you stretch the band and start raising your arm, you don't need to lift it too high. Just a little above eye level is enough. When you start moving here, what happens? Your deltoid muscle, the front and middle parts, engages depending on your arm position. In one position, the front part works more. They start working, and at the same time, your shoulder blade is stabilized by the trapezius muscle throughout the movement, which usually doesn't happen in a person with this kind of shoulder position. So, at the moment when I raise my arm, you see, my shoulder blade is also positioned forward. And as a result, when I raise my arm, it's not stabilized from the back. And so, in order for me to unlearn this movement, like when I raise my arm, my shoulder blade still stays in the forward position. I mean, of course, I can try to do it by willpower, but it's very hard. Usually, My own coordination isn't enough. So we use these kinds of aids, like resistance bands, heavy, where we fix it and hook it onto a door. And so I stretch it, and here you see automatically, thanks to the initial effort, it goes back, and here I already healed. I don't need to control the position of my shoulder blade. It automatically ends up in a position behind me that's unusual for me. And here I can already do the movement. The number of repetitions, well, as usual for exercises, from 5 to 10 repetitions, several sets. It depends on how tired you get. That was our first situation. And here's the second situation. Here we need to relax one side a bit and train the other side. In this case, the initial exercises are done lying down. That's the most comfortable way to do them. Let's say I have short muscles here on this side, ibud muslas, and here they're longer and weaker, but not necessarily weaker. Let's not complicate things. Here I have overworked muscles. Here they're not developed well enough. What do I do? On the side where my shoulder is lower, let's say on this side it's lower, I lie down on this side like this. I hold on with my hands, and with my legs I make this upward movement. I lift both legs up and try to hold them there. I hold on with my hands for balance, and I try to keep my legs in line with my torso. They won't go up high, first of all, and secondly, you don't need to try to lift them high, because if you try to lift them too high, you'll just fall back, and it will seem like you're lifting them higher, but not in the right way. Just lift using your abdominal muscles. But if you want your quadratus lumborum muscles to work more, in this case, you even need to move your legs back a little like this. That is so that your heel is not in front of your knee, but a little behind or in line with it. And in this position, we lift the leg, and you might feel some tension. If there's anything left of your quadratus lumborum, you might feel something in it. And in this way, we hold it statically, but 5 or 10 seconds is enough. Then we put it down and lift ourselves up. It's tough. We lift ourselves up, get onto our forearm like this, and just lie here, resting in this position. We're stretching the opposite side like this. Then we repeat the same thing, lie down again and lift our legs. Gradually, for variety, you can add different angles. So you move your legs a little forward, and from this position start lifting them. Here the load will be more on the oblique abdominal muscles. If we move our legs even further back and try to lift them from this position, then the quadratus lumborum muscle will work even more. That's it. If after this exercise you stand up, go to the mirror, and it feels like everything has become more even, it means you did it on the correct side. If you stand up and feel even more uneven, it means you guessed wrong. Well, there's another option, do it on both sides right away. Stretch both and train both. Because, well, if you put some more load on the trained muscle, nothing bad will happen. And the muscle that usually doesn't work, the one with weak tone, if you stretch it a little more, basically, nothing bad will happen either. Probably. So, friends, try it out and let me know in the comments what effect, expected or unexpected, you experienced. As for next time, see you in a week.